help? Why did no one tell me about the struggles of a garage workshop still having to be a garage? Oh, I think I have an idea. I've seen this somewhere. Ooh. Okay, if I take this and I take this, and if I just do, they're not even. Uh, oh my god, I can't believe that actually worked. What the? You know, when I was thinking of help clean up, this is not what I meant, but that's not bad. And how did you rinse mouthwash? Oh, stick around. I might need that later. Anyways, welcome back to JAG Woodworking. In today's episode, we're actually going to be doing something from another woodworking YouTuber called Who's the Boss. Love his stuff because it's very simple to follow, uses pretty basic tools, and he provides free plans for everything that he makes. So it's pretty easy to follow along, and it's perfect just in time for the holidays. So let's get started. So a few bits of housekeeping real quick. Recently, had a birthday. I said that I wanted tools for my birthday, so I got a few new goodies. So you're going to see a few of those throughout this project. We're going to be using two 2x4x8s. Little piece of advice here, go to the premium section. These are much nicer, very few knots, and the knots that it does have are, I guess I would call them the basic ones. They're not like the big giant real dark ones that are loose and they're about to fall out. These are usually a bit straighter, so it's easier to find good boards to use. And all of the edges, sometimes when you go over to like just regular construction 2x4s, you have big gouges out of the corners. So the premiums, usually a little bit better for that. These were less than $4 a piece, something like that. So it's not that much more. It's like $1 more per 2x4. So when you're doing smaller projects like this, save yourself the hassle. That dollar is worth it in your time. 5-6 foot cedar fence pickets, and that's it. So what we're going to be making is a little Christmas tree. Go to who'stheboss.com. Got these free plans printed out. It's got a cut list here, and he actually has it planned out for if you want to use fence pickets or just regular 1x6x8. I'm gonna go ahead, get some of these laid out, start getting some cuts made. So I'm gonna start with the 2x4s. So the main trunk is gonna be 65 inches, and then we're gonna need four 16-inch pieces. Now, something that I'm gonna try to do is I want to try and use this for pretty much the whole project. There's a few things that I won't be able to, but I want to plan out my cuts accordingly. From this side of my guard to the blade is 1 3/16 inches. So what I'm going to try to do is, as I'm planning everything out, I take that into account of wherever I put my mark. I need to be a little bit shy of that. I need to be 1 3/16 inches shy, so that way I can then take this, line it up to it, just butt this against the square rather than trying to get everything lined up perfectly with the lines here and fiddle with it that way. I can just boop, boop, good to go. So that's the plan. That's what I'm going to try. Trying to be a better builder here. Make sure you got your PPE, and let's get started. Oh gosh, how did I don't know why this completely spaced me, but I'm a fraud. I've been trying to build myself up as like, you know what, I'm gonna be the cobalt guy because there's not many of those on YouTube, and I feel like they need it because tools have actually been pretty surprising and fairly affordable so far. But I've been using Milwaukee safety glasses this entire time. How can I be the cobalt guy if I'm not even gonna use something as simple as their safety glasses? What am I doing? So I had to go pick myself up a pair, of course, obviously. Pretty much the same thing, rocking blue. Think I look better in blue. Matches my eyes. Now we're ready to get cutting. As you'll see with the cutting, this all working great. I really like it. It's just a little bit of trial and error getting used to, plus the new method of cutting of automatically subtracting or adding depending on which direction you're measuring from. But figuring out how to exactly line it up is a bit tricky. And then you also see on the first cut, trying to get everything figured out and the right way to set it up and hold it, because I don't have a good workbench in here yet. That's coming up soon, hopefully. But trying to figure out exactly how to hold things and get everything lined up perfectly, it kind of bit on the blade. Remeasured, cut it through. Came out as a really clean cut, so I was happy with it. Everything was fine. Got the one 2x4 at the 65 inches. And then he says to just cut all four of the 16-inch legs out of the second 2x4. But I was able to get one out of this 8-foot piece, and then just the three 16-footers, or 16-footers, 16 inches out of the second piece, which left me with a 4-foot piece left over, which I feel like is much more usable than the like 15 or 14-inch piece that's left over from the first one. Well, while you're watching me do whatever step I end up overlaying this onto, let me cut in here and ask y'all for one favor. YouTube's implemented a new feature called Hype, where if you watch a video within the first 7 days that it's uploaded, you can go down by the comments, swipe over, and you'll see Hype. And that pretty much, if you click on that, and it tells YouTube that you're enjoying videos. So if you would be so kind to go do that, I'd much appreciate it. Now back to whatever he's doing. So on the cutting here, there's technically 2 bits of cutting that we're going to make. So and again, who's the boss? He's the king right now, because he's actually got them color coded, because not so good with numbers and words, but colors I can follow. Looking here, we have green numbers are front angled boards, blue numbers are background straight boards. I'm going to start with the blues just to make it easier, and I'm going to cut all those, set them aside. Then I'll cut the greens, put those in a separate pile. We're going to get these marked out, get the cutting. To the pickets, like I said, I started with the blue pieces, and so I just went down the line of the biggest pieces, got them all stacked up nicely. So measured out 36, cut. 32, cut. 27, cut. 21, cut. 16, cut. 10, cut. 6, cut. Got all those set to the side. Then went and grabbed the next pieces, did the math. So I have my own measurements here for way I want to try and cut, because it seems like a very effective production style cutting. And so it was fairly quick to do it that way, rather than trying to line it up with the saw each time individually. So then on now to the green pieces, measured out 35, cut. 16, cut. The 30 and a half, which I measured out to 31 and 11/16 to do that, cut. 20 and a quarter, cut. 18, cut. 25 and a quarter, cut. So final thing here before assembly actually is he says on the instructions that he has a 2 3/4 inch piece that he uses as the spacing for where to line everything up. So I have this little scrap piece left over. I'm going to get it cut down to 2 3/4. Then we'll move on to assembly. Okay, now we can assemble. And if this is your first time here checking me out, go ahead and go to my channel and you can find a video of how I made this. So the assembly process is pretty much just as straightforward as the cutting process. And it's all laid out here. He's even got written instructions. Again, you can go watch his video and then just use this for the numbers and do what he does in the video. It doesn't matter. But he has them written down here, so you could even make this without watching the video. What we're going to do is we're going to take our 2 3/4 spacer, and we're going to start with our smallest piece of our blue numbered boards that we cut. So the first set. So we're going to take that. And then what we did is we measured and marked the center of each one of these boards. And then a 2x4, fun fact in case you didn't know, they're not actually 2 inch by 4 inch, they're 1.5 inch by 3.5. So we need to mark the center line of the 3.5, which is 1 3/4. So on my square, right here, I have marked 1 3/4 with a Sharpie. And so all I'm going to do is take this piece with the spacer, line that up at the top for the spacer, and then using the square, Now that I have the square in place, I can let go of the spacer, line up with a line for the halfway point, and then we're gonna glue an 18 gauge brad nail 1 inch. The glue is what's mainly going to hold it in place. The brad nails are simply to hold it until the glue dries. This one I am using Titebond Original because this is going to be an indoor piece or here in the garage. Um, if you're making these for outdoor use, I recommend using Titebond 3 because it is the only Titebond that is actually waterproof. So if it's an outdoor decoration, Titebond 3. Strictly indoor, Titebond Original is fine. You can use whatever glue you want though, but this is going to get you the best results. Squeeze out a decent amount. You don't need a lot, but just enough for good coverage. And again, we're going to go ahead, find our line, put our hearing protection on. Keep losing the line. Wiggle it back and forth a little bit to help make sure that glue is spread. Then we're going to take our nailer. That moved a little bit, so I'm just going to put this back up, make sure it's still good to go right there. Okay. We'll just fire a few of those in there. That's all good to go for the first piece. And then pretty much just repeat the process. You got your 3-inch spacer, and then your next biggest board, make sure it's lined up in the middle, glue, brad nail, good to go. So I'm going to get this knocked out, and then we'll be back with the next step. Oh, when did you get here? Has he been here all along? I thought, do you not work exclusively for him? Okay, well, keep track. Guess how many nails we're using. If you go watch his video, that'll make sense. Anyways, back to work. Okay, so that's the first set. This last one here, I put quite a few in. Most of these have a little bit of a bow across them, so you don't necessarily need to put that many. 1, 2, or 3 per board would be perfectly fine. But just because of the curves, I wanted to give a little extra holding pressure to try and get as much contact with the glue. So now, next step is moving on to our green number boards. And this one is fairly simple, fairly straightforward process. So again, I'm just going to check to make sure which way. I think we'll put it this way. So what we're going to do is you're going to bottom corner to bottom corner is what you're going to do. And so you start over here, line up the bottom corner, and then line up bottom corner. And you're just going to do this all the way up it and go this corner to that corner, that corner, that corner, da 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 da, as you go up. And we're in the same process: glue, nail, get everything lined up. Don't need this anymore. Don't need to mark the centers. Let's get to it. Position everything in whatever's easiest way for you to work on it. And then if you watch his video, he actually cuts the legs later, but I went ahead and cut them now because since we're going to have to put pressure on these sides, we can use these as a bit of a brace. You know, slide it under here, get it under there. So now we can put pressure to nail it. So go ahead and get get it glued and nailed and everything, and have fun with it. I think I grabbed the wrong piece. Okay, double checked all my pieces. I was right. I have the 18 and the 16 for the final two green pieces. I just somehow got the numbers wrong in my head, but follow the paper. Paper's right. Let's finish it off. Okay. Is that how many you guessed? I appreciate the help. You can head on back now. I'll let them know that you were uh, just doing a little bit of a side hustle. Tell them to pay you a little bit more, maybe. This guy. Anyways, now we're moving on to the next step, which is, so this looks a little bit wonky as is. And so what we need to do is line up a straight line, and then we're going to take a circular saw and cut a straight line in. That way we can hopefully make it look a little better. Again, you follow the directions, it'll make sense. Because so you can see all our cross pieces, and then the red is where we're cutting. And so even though it looks a little wonky, everything should be good. So let me get things cleared up a little bit here, get some stuff put away so I have room to cut, and then I'll get it set up for that. Let's do it. So tried to do it on the floor. Things were a little bit weird. Put it back up here. Got it clamped to the table and got this straight edge clamped to it at, like I was saying, I forgot I can't cut it from this side because the motor sticks out further than it. So if I tried to do it this way, it would be messing up how things were. So I have to cut it from this side. So I'll be doing the cut like this. And the measurement from this side is 1.5 inches. So I just took a little bit of time, went around with the tape measure, and just, yep, 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches. And like I said, we're going bottom corner and bottom corner, and that's the only thing you need to make sure of. Then everything else along the path that's within that 1.5 inches or outside of that 1.5 inches is going to get cut away. But the only thing we need to measure is this one and this one. So I'm going to go ahead and get the battery in this, get the ear pro back on, and let's cut this side. This should be the more difficult side. So after this one, it should be fairly easy. Let's get to it. It's not the prettiest, but it works. Okay. So now I'm going to get this flipped around, and we'll cut the other side. again, we need to cut it in the same direction. So that means we need to line things up the same way. I'm gonna start down here. And the reason why I said this one should be the easier side is this one we are starting on this straight piece, and then after that the saw can kind of just glide along the angled pieces. So starting out it kind of whoop when you're cutting. But on this one we're starting on the angled, and so I can rest the saw along here and everything should go fairly straight. So that's the plan at least. I'm gonna get it measured out, get it clamped down, then we'll see. That one was much better. Okay, so now that's cut, you can kind of see it in the background here. But now let's step on over to the legs. Technically, this is good to go. You can slap these on there if you want and it'll work perfectly fine. But we're just gonna put a little bit of a 45 on them just to kind of spruce them up a bit, you know. Now, that's not overly loud and you don't need ear protection for it, but it was annoying. So I think I'm going to throw the headphones back on for the next three, but it's just give it a little extra look. And I'll take some sandpaper, clean up these edges. It's just, it kind of adds a pizzazz, you know, a je ne sais quoi to it. It's always good to get a little workout in while doing some woodworking. So they're not perfect. Obviously, there's better ways to do it. Obviously, there's better ways to use the tool. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. See all this blue down here mixed in with the sawdust? Uh, that means I screwed up. It means I didn't get this held at the proper angle and I started to cut into the miter box. Now we're on to the final step, and that's just getting the legs attached. And we're gonna need a driver, a 2.5-inch screw of your choice. And what we're gonna do is throw this one over here as a support, line this up, and then get some glue, get your screws open. So we're just gonna put 2 onto each piece. It doesn't have to be precise, just kind of roughly plan out where you want your screws to go. And also keep in mind, we're only putting glue on the legs that are going in the same direction as the tree. The other 2, the ones that go this way and that way, we're not going to put glue, and that's so when seasons are over, you can easily pop these off, and then this is fairly flat, and you can go store it somewhere rather than having to stand it up. I'm just going to get these started in here, then I'll put some glue on it. It'll make it easy to get everything driven in and whatnot. And then a good trick of what you can do, lay it down roughly how you want and roll it. So now you know the area that's exposed down here is where you want the glue. And so that way you're not gluing too big of an area. Get that down, kind of work it around to make sure you have good coverage. Square or whatever you want to use, get it as lined up as possible. Let's go ahead and get it screwed down. Might have put a little too much on that one there. Gonna work it around a bit. Again, your main concern is the bottom. We're not as concerned with this side. It will affect it, but the main thing is the bottom. So let's start with this corner. It's not fully seated, but it's most of the way down. I'm going to take a level or just something straight, decently lined up. So right there is where we want it. All you want to make sure your miters are all facing the same way. And this one, again, no glue in these. We're just doing screws. So that way we can easily dismantle it for storage. That should be good. So let's set it on the ground and find out. There we are. Now this, it's about 6 feet roughly. So it could be used as an indoor, outdoor. You got kind of a bit of a rustic vibe you want to do and use this as your Christmas tree, you can. You can cut a couple notches to like stick the wires of lights in, wrap it around there. You can put some staples on it. You can just put some small nails into it, get everything held together that way. You can do whatever you want. This would be a great holiday gift idea, decoration, sell them in your area, do whatever you want. Again, go check out Who's the Boss. That is WHOSTHEVOSS. No spaces. Go check those out. I appreciate you stopping by here and spending time with me. Hope you have a good one.